What's going on, guys? One, love out to everybody. We got UFC Fight Night, Hermansson versus Pyfer. Prediction breakdown here, guys. Fight Saturday, 4 p.m. 14 fights. Got a lot of fights on this card. UFC Apex, smaller cage there. Let's knock this out real quick here, guys. First fight here, we got Daniel Marcos versus Aurelio Ricci. I probably mispronounced that, but it's all good though. Don't mean to do it though, you know. It is what it is. All right, man. This fight here, I kind of went back and forward, and I could see a split decision for this fight. Daniel Marcos here, pretty well-rounded guy, man. Undefeated record, like you see. And, you know, guys with undefeated records, man, you got to be careful with them because, you know, usually they come from the Contender Series. They look good. I believe Daniel Marcos here came from Contender Series, but he also had a fight against Simon Oliveira and David Grant, which David Grant fight was a pretty good fight. You know, that's a good matchup for that guy. You know, it shows him that that he's a good prospect. David Grant ain't no joke. You know, David Grant beat some good guys, man. Especially that dude there who is doing pretty well right now, Jonathan Martinez. You know, also beat Marlon Vera way back. So you know, that's a good little split decision for him there. Beat Rafael Sancho also. I went back and forward. You know, Marcos, like I said, is a pretty good fighter. Would put the pressure on you. Works the body. Boxing is not bad. Leg kicks are pretty good. We look for takedowns. Movement is pretty nice, like I said. Can get wild with his shots at time and kind of swing kind of wild. That's one thing I was looking at. Sometimes he does get kind of reckless and kind of swing kind of wild. But he got a dog in him, though. That's the thing. This guy got a dog, man. He will keep coming and not give up. His opponent to Ricci, Oreo, my bad, Oreo. He's pretty well rounded too. In a kind of way, man, I feel like he could be a little bit more sharper with his boxing, in a kind of way. But he can get caught with punches, can get taken down, and he fades as the fight go on. That's one thing I noticed. He does fade out. He also got a dog in him too. Very aggressive guy though in the beginning of the fight. He come out there throwing heavy leg kicks too, but he was slowed down though. It's a tough one here, guys, man. This is a 50-50, and I do see this fight going either way. I will drop my Patreon account, the face-off picks, after I watch the face-off. So I could make a change depending on what I see in the face-off, that the mannerisms and everything like that, and if they make weight. But I'm going to go with Marcos here. But I'm not confident. Like I said, with undefeated guys, man, you know, like we see from the other prior cards, you know, these guys will come in there and then lose, you know. You know, losing to the more experienced guy. You know, our Richie is pretty experienced. You know what I mean? So, but I'm gonna go with Marcos here. I'm gonna say Marcos by a decision. It could be a split decision too. All right, 50-50. Next fight here, guys. We got Hyder Amil versus Fernie Garcia. Short notice for Fernie Garcia here, guys. Amil here, kind of a wild dude, man. I get a next undefeated guy here too. Wild guy. Quick with the movement, hands are quick, you know, his takedowns are pretty good. Can get taken down, but he scrambles very well. But he got a dog in him though, man. This kid is, you know, seems like a slow starter, you know, so he looked like he'd be like kind of losing the fight. But then he comes back, man. He got the dog in him. And he's going to have the 3-inch of reach in this fight and a 3-inch of height. His opponent here, Garcia, is taking this fight on the short notice here. And he's moving up back to 145. So he didn't do good in his other 135 fights here. You know, like 3 fights lost in a row. With Garcia here, he will let his hands go. He has boxing. He also has wrestling. But the thing about him, man, he can get broken. That's the thing. He doesn't have the dog in him. You know, and short notice, going back up to 145, which he usually fights at 135. He doesn't handle pressure too well, man. Once you start putting the hands in him or taking him down consistently, he's pretty much just like he gives up. So I'm going to go with Amil here, guys. I'm going to say Amil by decision, but it's still 50-50 because, again, I go back to what the undefeated guys, man, you know. I mean, Amil is coming straight from Contender Series, I believe. So it's going to be his first fight in UFC. And you have a guy like Fernie, yeah, he hasn't won his UFC fight yet. Lost to Jordan Houston, Brandy, Heinstein, and Rania Nakamura. Only fight was contender series against Wims, but again, he still has more experience, But just from the matchup, man, and short notice, going with Amil by decision, 50-50. Next fighter, guys, we got Jack Pagua versus Bogdan Guskov. Zach Pagua here, man, he looks to grind, man. And he mostly push forwards and put against the cage and kind of grind and kind of like dirty boxing. Keeps it dirty. Will throw overhands. Will also look for takedowns. But he mostly likes to be in the clinch. His opponent here, Guskov, 100% finishing rate on this guy. Heavy hitter, man. Mixed up pretty well. Will also look for takedowns and submissions. Kind of look like Anthony Smith here. Like has an Anthony Smith vibe about him. Lots of first round finishes. He lost against Volkanovski, but that ain't a bad loss because Volkanovski is a very experienced guy. And he kind of went toe to toe with him, landed some shots on Vulcan here. On Vulcan, and was looking kind of good in the fight, but he was trying to knock him out. That's what he was trying to do, because that's what he usually does. But a guy like Volkan Ozdemir is a pretty solid guy, man. Power too, and very, very experienced guy, man. So losing to this guy, it's not really a big issue. What I see from Guskov is pretty durable guy, a tough dude, power and everything like that. And what I see from Pagua, I'm not sure what Paga's gonna do in this fight. He's not really a one-hitter quitter. He could probably try to grind out a win, which that's possible. That can happen. That's why I'm going 50-50 on this fight. So that's a strong possibility. He could grind out a winner if he can get the takedowns. So that's the only thing I see more mixed up more. But for this fight here, I'm gonna go with Guskov for the winner. I just feel Guskov is just very heavy hitter, and what I see from him against Volkan Ozdemir, it shows that even though he lost that fight by submission, but it shows that he could hang in there. I believe he lost in the second round by submission, but it shows that he was landing shots on Volkan Ozdemir and hanging in there. I believe a guy like Zach, if he lands those shots on Zach, Zach's gonna go out. Okay, Volkan got him in the first round here. But I'm gonna go with Guskov here, first round KO TKO, 50-50. I'm not confident. All right. The next fighter we got Jeremiah Wells versus Max Griffin. Jeremiah Wells here, more of explosive kind of guy here. Pack power, heavy hitter. Would also look to wrestle, but he will fade in the fight, especially if you start pushing a lot of wrestling. If you start to push a lot of wrestling, he will probably start fading in the second and definitely in the third. He's going to be the quicker guy here, and this guy's very explosive, man. We lost to Carson Harris here, got caught in a undercut choke. But this guy's very explosive, punching power. But a guy like Max Griffin, though, man, Max Griffin is very experienced and he's been improving a lot, man. He's a guy that's been improving, man. Have some good wins, have some little losses here. I have some losses that he shouldn't lose. With a guy like Max, man, he will keep a pace on you. He would slow down, but then he will pick it back up again. 2 inch of reach, 2 inch of height. He's gonna have the better cardio in this fight, though, and he will recover quicker, in my opinion. Jeremiah Wells is probably gonna come at him hard and try to knock him out, and it's one of these fights where Max Griffin, majority of his fights that he's had, guys are trying to knock him out, like come at him and try to take his head off. And he seems to avoid the hits, and don't get knocked out. And plus the experience, and he's seen it, been there. I just don't know if Wells, if he try to take his head off, he could gas himself out. And we can see maybe Griffin tagging him up, and maybe even taking him down. Wells is going to definitely push takedown, but Griffin takedown defense is not bad. Like I said, Griffin has been improving, man. If I have to pick up a winner here, man, what I see from Wells, man, the guys that he fought are like Matthew Smellingsberger, who went to split decision when he went to split decision with him, which Smellingsberger is on a 3-fight losing streak, Court McGee, who is pretty much done, and Blood Diamond, who is not really, a full MMA fighter, is not really experienced in MMA, man, to be honest, man, and he got finished by rear naked choke. And while Alvarez, you know, got caught with a hook, actually right hook and ground and pound, you know. So, but he's known to be getting caught and knocked out. I'm gonna go with Max Griffin here, guys. I just feel the experience, man, and I just feel like he's seen a lot of wells already. He's seen a lot of wells, man. He fought a lot of guys who were like, you know, Jeremiah Wells, man. So I'm gonna go Griffin by decision, but definitely 50-50, because like I said, Wells is very, very athletic, sprint forward, explosive, and he could knock out Griffin. Griffin hasn't been knocked out much though. I believe he only been knocked out one time. So Griffin is durable, and he knows how to play the game, man. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be the more experienced guy there that's improving. It's not like he's like on a decline, you know. What he showed there against his last fight there, against what was the last fight? I believe it was against Michael Morales. He gave Michael Morales a run. You know, I believe he took down Michael Morales one or two times, I believe. Also was hitting him with some good shots. You know what I mean? So I'm liking Griffin. I'm going to say Griffin by decision, but like I said, 50-50. So I'm not confident, okay? Next fight, we got Devin Clark versus Marcin Prachnio. Devin Clark here, he will look to grind, man. Very explosive guy, heavy-handed. Can gas out, but he does recover. But he can gas out when he tries to do too much. You know what I mean? And will drop the ball too. His opponent here, Marcin. Marcin has a karate base on him, but man, his striking is not. He has a lot of knockouts, but it just depends on who he's fighting. But his striking is not. It's not like it can be a one-hitter quitter, but it depends on who he's fighting. But it's not. It's not sharp. You know what I mean? It's not sharp. It's not short. It's not sharp technique. You know, and he can get taken down, and he will definitely drop the ball, and he can definitely get knocked out. He's been knocked out 3 times in a row. You know, that doesn't mean he can't beat Clark, because Clark will also drop the ball. You know, because there could be something like this where Marcin comes in there and then freaking throw a kick and just catches Clark, and Clark go down, you know. But I'm liking Clark here for more the explosiveness, the more take him down and ground opponent, because Marcin can get taken down, man. So, but then Clark can get tired. But Marcin doesn't really push a heavy pace like that. He's more on the corner on the outside. So it's not like a guy that's going to come in and land some serious heavy blows, like what Devin Clark had to deal with in his last fights against Azamat Murzanov. You know, that fight where that guy was landing heavy shots on him, you know. When it's like that, it's different. Marcin more counter-strike. So I'm going to go with Clark here. I'm going to say Clark by decision. I'm not confident, 50-50. Next fight, we got Loma Lookboonmee versus Bruno Brazil. Loma here is well-rounded, has improved on our takedown defense and our wrestling and our Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Our ground game submissions has improved. And she got the dog in her, more of a Muay Thai base. There are counter strikes, nice leg kicks and sweeps, and her takedowns are pretty good. Her opponent here, Brazil, going to have the 5-inch of height, 4-inch of reach, which is massive. Fights long, footwork is pretty good. She move around pretty nice boxing. Only one thing though, she doesn't handle the pressure too well, and she's hittable. If she's in movement, she will avoid the shots, but once you start to walk her down or cut her off, you can get her. You can catch her with shots against the cage. And I think that's what's going to happen in this fight. And she can get her hurt and get knocked out. She's been knocked out 3 times already, and can get taken down. So this is a fight where, you know, Loma likes to fight in the clinch. She likes the inside fighting. Obviously, she's going to have the shorter reach. She's going to be the shorter, you know, the shorter woman with the shorter reach. Bruno going to have the more reach advantage here. So Bruno wants to be on the outside and tear her up from the outside, but Loma fights on the inside. So it's a perfect fight for Loma to win. Once Loma close that distance and get in to inside, where she can land uppercuts and elbows and knees, she's going to take her down and probably beat her up. I can see a KO TKO first round by Loma. I say I give Loma 60% in this one. All right, so slightly confident. So Loma first round KO TKO, guys. Like I said, a girl like Brazil doesn't really have the power, in my opinion, to really take out Loma. And 3-round fight in Apex cage, small cage, You know, Bruno can get cut off in that cage, even though she moves well, but you can penetrate her and then cut her off and catch her with something and take her down. So Loma by KO TKO first round. Next fight we got Timothy Kumba versus Bolaji Oki. Timothy here is moving up to 155 from 145, and I believe it's a short notice for him. But he's moving up to a higher weight here. I think this is his first time. Nice hands. Hands are not bad. Striking, counter strike. But he slows down though after the first into the second. Can get touched up a little bit. But with this guy here, he is good on exiting, not staying in that center. So he's good on cutting angles, counter strike. But he does slow down though. That's one thing I notice, and kind of like backpedal a lot and just not really doing much. His opponent here, Oki, very aggressive guy, man. Wow, hands are pretty accurate, flying knees, counters. This guy is very quick reaction time, man. So I'm liking Oki here. I'm gonna say Oki by decision, 50-50, guys. All right, still gonna say 50-50 because what I see from Timothy is not a bad fighter, man. So it could be one of these fights where, you know, a guy like Timothy does outstrike him. You know, because Timothy cut angles, not really in the center a lot, but a guy like Oki is pretty good striker, hit heavy, you know, takedown defense good. So Oki should win, but you know, these fights here, man, especially contender series guys, really both of these guys are coming from contender series, man. You know, it's just when you have fights like this, kind of tough, you know, and they never did take Timothy, you know, to win the contender. So he went on and fighting and tough enough. So, but they did take Oki, of course. But this is Oki first UFC, going to be first UFC fight. So both guys making debut here. So decision 50-50, man. Next fight we got Devin Giles versus Carlos Prates. Giles is well rounded, man. Skill, experienced guy. But this guy can get submitted, man, especially by rear naked chokes. Can get taken down, can get hurt in the foot. He's striking. Sometimes he looks good. He has a jab on him, and sometimes it's just he's jabbing and he's hesitating and he's ducking his head down. It just doesn't look good. Sometimes he does look good, and sometimes he doesn't. He's not consistent. A guy like Carlos, coming from the contender series again, these contender series guys are hard to it's hard to predict, man, because some of these guys will drop the ball, especially the undefeated guys, man. They would drop the ball, man. It's just difficult, you know. Can Giles beat Carlos? What I see from Carlos, good striking, man. Very technical, counter strike him. Ground game not bad. Can get taken down, though, but we scramble back up. Got 4-inch of reach. Can I remember if Alex Pereira has an Alex Pereira vibe to him? You know, counter strike straight on the pocket with the left. Guy looks pretty good. But again, coming from contender series, you know what I mean? You know, Giles, you know, very experienced guy. You know, guys could get a win here, man. So this is a fight where I'm liking Carlos with the fight starts standing up, and his striking is pretty accurate, man. Kind of like an Alex Pereira kind of strike. The guy is pretty accurate. Straight in the pocket. If Giles is just there in the middle, right in the center, that left would come in the pocket and catch him, man. So I'm going to go with Carlos here. I'm going to say Carlos KO TKO in the first round. But be careful, because if Giles cannot get hurt and avoid the strikes and kind of wrestle and dirty box, play MMA, he could pull off a win here, man. So 50-50. Be careful. Put a star beside that. That's not confident at all, guys. Next fight here we got Rodolfo Vieira versus Armen Petrosyan. Vieira here, BJJ black belt. Striking has been getting better. Still kind of suspect though, but he's getting better with the striking. Let's set up the jabs, kind of pace himself, doesn't burn out himself too much. Doesn't really just hunt for takedowns and gas out. But his submission game is pretty accurate, man. This guy gets you, especially get your back. He's gonna rear naked choke you, man, or guillotine or any other submission as their arm triangle choke, whatever he can catch you with. And all of his wins have been by submission. So that tells you something. Mostly triangle chokes, rear naked mostly. 100% finishing rate, man. Armen though, Armen is well-rounded, technical guy. Ground game slightly getting better, man, but can get taken down though, you know. Fight against AJ Thompson was taking him down. KO was beat him by just taking him down, you know. Gregory Rodrigues taking him down, you know. It's just like a guy like Vieira, if he can avoid the strikes from Armin, and what I see from Armin striking, if you look at his striking, he hasn't really been knocking out anybody in the UFC, really. Only the Contender Series. So it's not really like one hitter quitter. So if Vieira has a chance here, smaller cage, just pace himself, avoid the heavy strikes, go for takedown, and most likely Vieira will probably get it, and possibly even look for submission, which I don't think Armin has never been submitted, but first time for everything, man. I'm gonna go with Vieira here, man. What I see from Armin is like striking is not like he can strike, but he's not one hitter quitter. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna like smother Vieira. He's gonna give a little space. So I'm gonna go with Vieira here. I'm gonna say Vieira by submission in the first round, guys. 50-50 definitely star. Beside that, meaning that I'm not confident. And Armin could beat him up, man. Armin could stop Vieira's takedowns and just punch him up the whole fight and win off by a decision. Strong possibility, and Vieira could just get tired, you know. So be careful with that one. Michael Johnson versus Daros Flowers. Johnson, man, holy crap. Michael Johnson, bro. It's like a hit or a miss with Michael Johnson. You just never know what you're gonna get. It's like a box of chocolate. Never know what you're gonna get, you know. So, you know what I mean? Michael Johnson is one of those guys, man. Decent striker, very experienced guy, man. Good everywhere, but man, it's just he be looking good, and then all of a sudden, bam! Either he gets knocked out or he gets submitted. Most of the time, he's getting submitted. But quick guy, quick hands, and accurate, good fighter. You know, it looks good in the foot and everything. You're gonna have a 2-inch reach, but like I said, it's like a box of chocolate. Never know what you're gonna get. You know, so never know what you're gonna get, man. We definitely drop the ball, hit or miss. His opponent here, Flowers, though. What I see from Flowers, though, man, chin kind of high up, kind of wild. It looks kind of sloppy with the striking, man. I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, I'm just here to break on the fights and give my opinion, some of his facts. You know, I'm not here to disrespect any of these fighters. You know, everybody here deserves to be here and train and come in here and do you do your work. You know, what they get paid for, I guess, right? So it's all over the end of the day. All these fighters, all respect for all of them, and just saying it how I see it. His technique sometimes looks a little sloppy. He's throwing his punches and running forward and his chin is high. Johnson should be able to expose that. You know what I'm saying? So, and he gasses out. So, but again, Flowers coming here and will look wild and throw some overhand out of nowhere, and then Johnson face get caught. Johnson gets knocked out. So, I'm gonna go Johnson by decision, man. But star beside that one, guys. So. Johnson's a guy where it's like it's not consistent, so you gotta be careful with that one. Next one, Brad Tavares versus Gregory Rodrigues Robocop. Tavares are definitely a veteran, experienced, well-rounded guy. Decent striking, but haven't been finishing anybody. You know what I mean? Hasn't been right. A guy like Robocop. You know, he's starting to push more of his BJJ black belt, you know, on the ground, because his last fight not his last, but his second to last one, Bruno Ferreira, caught him. You know, he's looking good in the fight, and Robocop is a guy that want to strike. You know, heavy-handed guy, but he has a good ground game, and he's not mixing it up. So he's not really known as a striker like that. He's more known for his takedowns and BJJ. You know, and his submission, you know, he just likes to strike, and he's a guy that seems to be kind of chinning, right? You know, you touch him and he gets knocked out, which is face not meant to get a hit, but some people are more perceptible of getting knocked out. You know, it's dependent, you know, and just how much times you get hurt, how much times they've been getting hit. The more you get hit to the face, you're more perceptible of getting knocked out eventually, because you're taking a lot of damage to the brain, right? And the head not meant to get hit, especially the brain, you know. So, I'm gonna say Rodrigues here, man. Gregory Rodrigues by decision. If he mixes it up, but if he tends to want to stand and strike, it could be risky, because like I said, he doesn't handle a hit too well. And if Brad catch him You know, as I said, Brad hasn't been knocking out anybody, but Rodrigues doesn't really handle a shot too well. But I'm going to go with Rodrigues by decision. I'll be careful. Next fight, we got Poirier versus Robert Brazil. Short notice for here. Fights long. Kind of the slower fighter here. Kind of telegraph his moves a little bit. Can read him. Break under pressure. He will actually give up. He's moving down from 205 to 185 for this fight. Short notice. His opponent here, Robert, though. Robert seems pretty legit, man. Aggressive guy. Got a dog in him. Decent striking, quick. This guy's pretty fast, man. Speed and everything throws with friggin' 100% power, man. Especially his ground and pounds are vicious. It's like he's like killing you. It's like he's looking to kill you in there. It's just kind of wild. But hopefully that's not the case. But yeah, man, I gotta go with Robert here. Robert is a quicker guy here, man. This is speed advantage alone, and the fact that is going down, and Robert is a better fighter here. Speed and timing, and just his precision, power. I'm not sure how you're gonna win, but we will see what happens. I'm gonna go with KO TKO in the first round by Robert. So Robert wins by KO TKO first round, and I believe this is Robert's. This is his debut here. So next debut fighter. So still a bit careful though. But I like Robert though. Next fight here, guys. We got co-main event, right? Yeah, we got Dan Ige versus Andre Fili. Ige, pretty well rounded dude too. Skilled, technical, got a dog in him to push forward. Look kind of good against Brass Mitchell, back and forward. But Brass Mitchell takedowns is what really got him. Fili is short notice here. Fili is an experienced guy too. Skill, striking. We look for takedowns, but the thing about Fili, he would drop the ball though. That's the thing. He's a guy where you can't be confident with. You can be more confident with Ige. If you was gonna make a pick, just based on consistency, I would go more towards Ige. But even though Ige lost to some guys, but he losing to Everlove, Josh Emmett, Korean Zombie, those are not bad losses. Kevin Cater, not bad losses, But Fili, we just pretty much lose. We lose to to Joe Anderson Brito. We lose to what did he lose to here? He lost to Michael Johnson, which actually you don't have that much of a bad losses here. Lost to Nathaniel Wood. His losses are not too bad either, man. He's a pretty legit guy. Yeah, but I think Dan Ige will more look for takedowns, more mix up a little bit more, and I think Dan Ige fight more tougher competition. Let's be with durability. I feel Ige is a little more durable here. I'm gonna go with Ige by decision. I'm not confident though, guys. 50-50. All right. Main fight on the card here. We have we got Jack Mershman versus Joe Pyfer. This one is a tricky one here, guys. Jack Mershman doesn't really fight as much. Hasn't fought since 2022. The last fight was against Roman Delancey, which he was doing pretty good in that fight till he got caught, with submission. I believe it was a calf slicer. Got ground and pounded off from the back. Man. This Jack is just a very experienced guy, man. He's a veteran, man. Even though he hasn't been fighting much, he's still an experienced guy. He can't overlook that. He can't overlook that, man. I mean, the guy's super experienced, dude. You can't overlook that. You know what I mean? Even though he doesn't fight a lot, he's still experienced. Who has Joe Pyfer fought? He broke his arm in the Contender Series against Dustin Shuffus. And he came back, and was in CFC, and then Contender Series finished the guy, with strikes. Beat Alan Akhmadovsky, which Alan Akhmadovsky never won a fight in UFC. Never won a fight. Then he fought Gerard Merchant, who's known to not handle pressure too well. And he's not that much of a losing streak. Well, actually, the grappling match. He fought Joe Pyfer in the UFC and then grappled and lose to him. So he's really on a one fight. One fight. He only lost one. No, he lost 2 fight losing streak. He fought the guy twice in grappling match and in the UFC in the boat. He beat him back to back. Yeah, a guy like Merchant doesn't handle pressure too well. You can catch him and knock him out. And then he fought Abdul, which is pretty much the same thing. Which Abdul was actually taking it to him. Was actually taking out his legs. There was a point where, Joe was like getting leg kick and he didn't like it. And there are certain parts of the fight where Abdul was taking it to him. He just got Abdul with a takedown and he submitted him. But I don't know, man. If Abdul is doing that to him, I mean, Jack is a very experienced guy, dude. And Joe is a powerful guy, I see him fight up for 5 rounders in his other organizations, but he finishes fights some quick. Speed advantage, he's got the power wrestling, but Jack is experienced and has the techniques and power and the grappling and everything like that. If Joe gets tired, he's screwed. We're relying on Joe to come in here and get a knockout over Jack or Mershman, a knockout or a submission. That's what we were looking for. That's what he's supposed to do. If he doesn't do that, it can be rough. Because Jack is a very experienced guy, man. I'm gonna go with Jack or Mershman, man. It's kind of hard to pick Jack, man. Both of these guys. Did I say hold on there? Joe and Jack. Probably mix up the names. I'm gonna go with Jack. Like I said, I just feel like Jack is just experienced, and Joe. I don't know, man. I mean, he's skilled, and he shows that he's skilled, and he shows that he has a power. But man, I don't know, man. There's certain things I see in the fight where it's like, if these guys are doing that to him, and these guys are not even at that level, what is Jack going to do to him? And Jack's seen that already. Been there. I like Jack. Jack by decision, 50-50. I'm not confident, guys. All right? I think Jack going to take him to deep water, man. Could be wrong, though. Like I said, Joe could come in here and get a knockout, which that's what he's supposed to do. Quick look at the odds here, guys. Crazy odds. Dun, 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 dun. Crazy odds. One look at the odds and I go so crazy. Oh, man. Daniel Marcos, 278. Man. This fight here, guys, is an even fight. And you're going to see why. Be careful with this one. Careful, man. Even fight. Daniel undefeated, but Errol Richie is not a bad guy. So he's not a bad fighter, man. So be careful with this one. Daniel hold on there. What's going on here? We got 2 of the same thing here. All right, Fernie Garcia, Amil. Yeah, I can see Amil win this fight. Still be careful, though. I like Amil, but still be careful. Zach Pago and Guskov is underdog. Guskov is underdog in this fight. I like Guskov. Close to even, but underdog is Guskov. So I like Guskov, though. Jamal Wells and Max Griffin's an underdog, too. I'm liking Max Griffin, guys. Like I said, Wells could, possibly get a win, but I like Griffin, though. Devin Clark, Marcin, Griffin, 230 something. I wouldn't be so high with Devin Clark, man. Did I say Griffin? As if, yeah, I wouldn't be so high with Devin Clark, guys. Be careful. It's close fight, but Devin Clark should win, but be careful. These odds are all over the place. Oki 180. This fight should be a little bit more closer. Like I said, Timothy, and be careful. But I still like Oki, but still be careful though. Contender series, guys. Loma and Bruno. Yeah, Loma 290, 300. Yeah, I'm liking Loma here. I don't really see how Bruno would win this fight. Once Loma closes the distance, it's going to be problems for her. What happened to the rest of the odds? The rest of the odds are all over the place. I guess some of the odds are not in yet. Okay, here we go. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, Jack Hermansson, Joe Pyfer's 250. That fight, Hermansson and Joe Pyfer, even fight. Believe me on that. Careful that one, guys. Philly, Danige, 175. Not too bad. I feel like should win the fight. Robert and Eor. I'm liking Robert, man. I don't see how Eor gonna win. Dropping down. Robert, mad speed advantage with power. Robert looks good, man. So yeah, that's not too bad. Brad Torres and Gregory Rodrigues. Rodrigues is 250, 260. I'll be careful with that one, man. A guy like Rodrigues who can't take a hit, if he doesn't mix it up, it could be problems. Even though Brad Torres don't really have any knockouts recently, but be careful with that one. Flowers and Johnson. Johnson 142. Negative 142. Even fight, guys. Like I said, Johnson, hit or miss, man. Like a box of chocolate. Never know what you're going to get. You know what I mean? So, Johnson fights should be always even, man. Because he's hit or miss, You just never know. So, just be careful with that one. Arman and Vieira, even fight. I don't disagree with that one. Perfect, even fight. I don't disagree. Carlos and Giles. Carlos is 250, 275. Nah, man. This is close to even. The reason for that because Giles is very experienced and Carlos making his debut here. Even though Giles, like I said, he starts out, he's jabbing, but duck his head down. Carlos looks pretty good. But we see fights like this where, guys can contend a series coming here and then experienced guys like Giles going there and then MMA them, and take them down and beat them up. So careful with that one, guys. All right. That's about it right there, guys. That's my odds breakdown. Crazy odds. Actually, the odds didn't look too crazy on this one, but kind of, slightly. You just gotta be careful. All right, guys. So that's it right there. Check out my face-off predictions on my Patreon account, which I'm gonna drop that in a little bit. And one love out to everybody. And subscribe to the channel. Also check out my Patreon. Also check out my PayPal. You guys can donate. Help out the channel a lot. And that's about it there, guys. One love.